What's up YouTube community, Bernd here, welcome back to another video lesson. Our topic today, how to effectively increase your alternate picking speed. I prepared a really cool exercise for you that personally helped me a lot with that in the last couple of years, and the system and idea behind it is actually quite simple. Let me play it for you first in two different tempos and then we will analyze it together in detail. For this exercise I was ascending the A minor scale on just one string all the way up to the octave. I played the same pattern for every position, twice in the beginning and only once in the ending for some extra challenge. The main concept here is introducing a short burst of 16th note triplets to a group of 16th notes in a tempo you can already play comfortably. As we already discussed on this channel, it doesn't work to just turn the metronome to a higher and higher tempo every day. The picking technique for slow and fast tempos is quite different, and that could be compared to walking and running, for example. You also won't learn how to run when you just walk faster and faster every day. You just have to throw yourself into cold water at some point. I recently visited a workshop hosted by Martin Miller, an amazing player and fellow Ibanez endorser. He explains his technique and learning it in a similar way. When you practice this particular workout, you establish a context that allows you to get back to a group of 16th notes that you already feel comfortable with before and after the short bursts of fast picking. That is much more effective than just pushing the tempo too hard and trying to get the feeling of fast picking to perfect it. This one also serves amazingly well as a warm-up exercise for me because I'm warming up my mid-tempo picking motion while also working on my speed picking. I had to record some music after I worked on this video and was perfectly warmed up from this exercise, so I will definitely make sure to include this one in my pre-gig warm-up. In the beginning you should make the exercise a little bit smaller and just focus on one pattern in one position. Just pick one in a section of the fretboard you feel comfortable with. For example, right here, starting with the root note A, going to B and C, and the pattern would be really slow, for example. And so on. First of all, you want to make sure to practice this one with a metronome. I know that I repeat myself constantly saying this in every single video, but it is the absolute only way to progress here. You really need a rhythmic context to check if you're playing the 16th notes and 16th note triplets correctly in time. Otherwise you won't benefit from your hard work practicing stuff like that for hours. Start very slow and pick a tempo of 16th notes that you can play without any effort. So this is not really a beginner exercise for alternate picking. You should have spent a bit of time on that before you go to this exercise. If you can play alternate picking, continuous down and up strokes for 16th notes at a tempo of 80 to 90 BPM upwards, you can give this one a try. If not, you should develop the motion a little bit more before that. Generally, I focus on staying absolutely relaxed with my picking technique. I don't care too much for very aggressive picking attack, since I also want to use this style of playing for my acoustic guitar solos or also with a clean sound, for example. I also don't want to hurt myself or risk any chance of getting tendonitis or anything like that, since I'm playing a lot every day to record for session jobs or these videos. A good way to prevent all of that is making it your focus to stay relaxed when you're picking. I know that it's very tempting to try to reach a higher picking speed by putting in some force like that. But it's definitely not the right approach, as you might be able to hear, at least for me personally. Super heavy picking attack like that might actually sound good for certain types of music, but I prefer my speed picking to sound as clean as possible and my technique to be as economic as possible. Another very important advice concerning all that is working on your left hand technique too. It's not all just about your right hand. As you hopefully see in all of my videos, I'm aiming for a good angle with my left hand too. It should not look like that, for example, or like that. A good and clean angle would look something like that. This kind of angle is actually quite common with a lot of my students, and when you try stretching for some more complicated phrases, you will see why there's a huge disadvantage to that one. It's very hard to stretch far with your pinky finger right here. As soon as I adjust my technique, it gets much easier. Some of my students develop this kind of playing style and angle because they like to wear their guitars pretty low. It's a decision everybody has to make on his or her own, and for some it's purely aesthetical. I personally like to wear my guitars relatively high to get the best possible angle for both of my hands and my technique. But there are a lot of amazing players, of course, like Kiko Lorero, for example, that also wear their guitars pretty low and sound crystal clear live while maintaining a perfect technique. So I absolutely don't want to say that you can't get the best of both worlds. A good workout for developing and maintaining a clean left-hand technique that is also often mentioned by this great player is the exercise sometimes called the spider. There we play the chromatic scale or any kind of symmetric 4-note per string scale from the 5th to the 8th fret, for example, and press down with our fingers on the fretboard until we need them in the next position. So it looks something like that. And so on. The main goal is to never block the strings with your fingers, like that, for example. There I'm blocking the A string with my pinky finger, which means there's something wrong with my technique. It should sound like that. Since you can only play like that when you are maintaining almost a 90-degree angle with your fingers like that, like a small hammer for example, you are teaching yourself a good and super clean technique. Please let me know if we should cover this one in greater detail in the future. For now, I will leave you with this week's exercise, and I really hope that you have a lot of fun working on it. As always, the tabs and the practice backing tracks are online on Patreon. Thanks to all of my supporters at this point. Make sure to check out patreon.com/Bernd for early access videos, 20 exclusive bonus lessons, Skype lessons and other great content. Also make sure to subscribe to stay updated for more free and weekly guitar lessons. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video or a comment in case you have any questions I could answer for you. Have a lot of fun practicing. I will see you soon.